This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me on this journey. We'd like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Yanis, Albert Lorenzo, LightBlindedFool, The Amyrlin Seat, and Green Man. And we're so excited to announce that we have a new executive producer level patron to join our team. We're really excited to welcome Kristen Gilreath. Thank you so much for your support and your generosity. We're super pumped to have you. In this episode, we are talking about chapters 13 and 14 of the Path of Daggers.
Yeah, so chapter 13 is Floating Like Snow, and chapter 14 is Message from the Mahale. Very exciting. To be in Rand's head.
Yeah, we're in Rand. We're
doing this.
Cool.
It's medium. Like him emotionally, maybe is like medium. I'm excited to see what you think about events that are happening here.
It's about as exciting as I anticipated it being.
Okay.
The first time we were around this book.
Yeah.
Since the whole Samael
for sure
situation.
We got to get a little bit like of the realism of like, okay, we just took over Ilion.
What does that look like?
Right? We're moving in. We got to get stuff under order.
We got some logistics to sort out.
Some people to straighten out. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, what are they all doing?
Right.
A lot of names. I have a lot of recap for names to remind you of who people are.
Okay.
Hopefully that'll help a little bit.
Yeah, I just didn't bother even writing any names down.
Yeah, I figured. So that's where I come in. And we're back to 2 chapters for this episode and going forward for a while now.
Okay.
So, and last big piece of big news for us for this episode, these chapters, we are officially halfway through the book.
Oh.
We crossed the halfway point in the second chapter.
There's a lot of recap in these chapters for being halfway through the book.
I mean, it's, Rand. It's Rand.
It's
Rand. It's Rand.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, since we're with Rand, and since we're in Ilion, I figured why not talk about Ilion? Because we got some real-world inspiration here.
Sure.
And it's kind of funny, because RJ does his research, right? We know he does.
Yeah.
He puts little things in here.
Yeah.
But I got a list of stuff for you of real-world references for Ilion having to do with it with this chapter. So let's get into it. So first off, Ilion has a lot of Greekiness to it. That's a new word that I'm coining. Greekiness. Lots of Greek stuff. So RJ likes to do, first off, his naming patterns. So if you're from certain places in the Wheel of Time universe, you'll typically have certain sounding names based on where you're from.
Okay.
So Ilion, a lot of the names are Greek-like. So we've got the king Matin Stepaneos.
Yes. We've
got Dimitri, we get introduced to this chapter too. Markolin, the first captain of the companions. We'll talk about that later on too. But since we're doing the Greek stuff, the name Ilion is likely a play on the name Ilion. I-L-I-O-N. Because in Greek, that was one of the names for Troy. Like the Troy. Like Brad Pitt as Achilles attacking Troy.
Well, yeah. Troy's a city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hence the story.
Trojan War.
Yeah,
I got it.
Some people think Troy, but it's actually Ilion, hence the story of the Iliad.
The Iliad,
right?
Yeah.
Which also is referred to the Song of Ilion, I-L-I-O-N, or the Song of Ilium, I-L-I-U-M.
Okay.
So there's a lot of different ways to spell that, but it all basically is Ilion, like in Wheel of Time.
Okay,
That's
cool.
the first one.
Yep, cool.
Now, the second thing is the king of Ilion's name is Matin Stepaneos. So, looking at that last name, Stepaneos is likely derived from the name Stephanos.
Okay.
It is.
Maybe.
Stepaneos and Stephanos, or Stephanos, is basically where it's coined from.
Okay.
Now, the Greek name Stephanos is a masculine name meaning wreath or crown, and by extension it means reward, honor, renown, or fame from the verb stephine, meaning to encircle or to wreath. So what that all means is that because in ancient Greece, they would have crowning wreaths given to winners of contests, which were very literally laurel wreaths, which were awarded to winners of things like the Olympic Games.
Okay.
So Matin Stepaneos' name literally means laurel wreath, and that's the crown that he wears, the laurel crown.
The laurel crown.
Because it's all Greek.
Mm-hmm. Except their little tiny sharp swords poking you in the head when you wear it.
Exactly. And on that note, there's also another big parallel with the Crown of Swords, which it is renamed to.
Yep.
to the crown of thorns, which was what was put on Jesus' head. And Rand and Jesus have a lot of parallels, so that's a fun fact we're going to save for later on.
All right.
So, but anyways, the last little reference here that we have for Ilian is we learn about the Ilianer companions in this chapter too, a little bit more than we knew before. So the companions are very likely based on the Macedonian hetairoi, which were literally called the companions, because in Greek it means companions.
Yeah, okay.
And they were the elite cavalry of the Macedonian army around the time of Alexander the Great, and they were considered the chosen companions that formed the elite guard around the king, which is literally the exact same thing that it is in the Wheel-Time universe with Rand.
Makes sense to me.
Very cool. And an interesting note, the hetairoi of the Macedonian army could be like people from the aristocracy, or they could be commoners of any origin. So again, exactly like it is in Wheel of Time.
Sure.
So a whole lot of real-world inspiration here that RJ plucked right out of Greek.
Okay.
Like history.
Got it.
Very
yeah.
exciting. Okay.
All right, cool. Now, last time we were here, we had a lot of people doing a lot of things.
Yep.
We have Perrin doing stuff in Gildan with the Prophet and whatnot. We have the Shanchen invading Amador and Ebudar.
Mm-hmm.
We have the women narrowly escaping said Shanchen invasion in Ebudar after using the Cloud Bowl. And now they are presumably in Andor somewhere.
Yeah.
That's where we last saw them after they were attacked with Elaine, Avienda, and Brigida seriously injured.
Yes, but then probably going to be fine because then
Probably going to be healed. Hopefully
Probably,
that's something that can,
Yeah.
So we also had Savannah up to no good with the Shido.
Mm-hmm.
And now Cadswain and Sorelia are Team Old Lady.
Yep.
They've teamed up.
Teamed up to help Brand or something? Maybe?
Sort of.
Maybe help?
Yeah, and they both clearly have their own agendas. But we have Sorelia teaching Cadswain about traveling.
Yeah, and maybe some common ground, so we'll see how that plays out.
Right, okay, and now the last time we saw Rand, he was literally battling Samael in Shatter Logoth. That whole scene went down at the end of Crown of Swords. He got back and was crowned King of Ilion.
Yes, from some of the people who kind of come back this chapter.
Yeah.
That's where we know some of the names from.
Right.
Yep. I'll bring it up, don't worry.
Okay, and now we're picking up, and it seems like it's potentially less than a week later.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Roundabout.
Yeah.
Mid to late.
Within a week-ish. Yeah.
Just over half a week.
Okay, yeah.
If we are, following other people's timelines.
Okay.
From what they tell us, things
Okay.
are happening.
Okay.
So, now, chapter 13 is called Floating Like Snow, and our chapter symbol is the dragon.
Because Rand, here we go.
Rand, here we go. So Rand is sitting on his big war horse with his soldiers and nobles, and they're out in the country, and it's windy and cold and raining.
Yeah.
There's been a bunch of storms. Okay.
We get that ramped up. Like, it's been not that long.
Yep.
And you were like, why aren't things happening fast? It's happening pretty fast
I know
here.
what's happening now.
It is.
I know what's happening.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, the weather's cool.
Yeah. You wanted it to stay hot forever. They want it to snow.
I didn't want it
happening.
to stay hot
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
I think that's taken a touch out of context.
No, it's absolutely what you said on record probably at one point.
I don't know about that.
You might be the Dark One in disguise.
I might be. I
Yeah.
mean, it's possible.
Okay,
Anything's
it's
possible at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so now Rand is thinking about how everyone is happy that the heat wave has broken, but now they're all sort of like looking at him like maybe he's the reason for all of this, and it's making him laugh to himself.
Yeah, we really got to get back in the mentality of what it's like to be in Rand's head, where he thinks about things and then laughs and giggles to himself,
Right.
but not saying anything. So people observing Rand just see him sitting there on his
Laughing.
horse, laughing to himself.
Uh-huh.
A little bit worrisome.
I hope no one sneaks anything in his wine.
Okay.
We'll get there.
We'll get there, yeah.
Okay, so we get a bunch of recap here. He's floating in the void, and then we specifically get a recap about the One Power, the Taint on Saidin, and his injuries.
And how he's not even paying attention to the taint anymore. And it's like, maybe we should be concerned that Rand's like, whatever.
Yeah.
He's very, casual towards this.
I would be concerned about it if later in these two chapters he doesn't specifically mention that the taint is a problem.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Maybe?
Well, right here, he's like he's not paying any attention to it.
No, it's because it's like the new normal.
Yeah. That's what
That's just
we're
it.
kind of agreeing.
Yeah.
It's bad. I don't think it's good.
No, but at this point, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah.
Get used to it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, maybe.
Get used to it or cleanse it already.
There we go.
One or the other. Come
That's
on.
the alternative. We have things to talk about that we're not going to... We got to not jump ahead at the very beginning.
I know, and I have to refine my prediction on whether or not if Sidene is cleansed...
Sure.
And it doesn't make men go crazy anymore... Are they cured of all their past crazy?
Or is it
like now
you won't get more
crazy from where you already
wherever
are?
You were cut off, that's all that got into you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to think about that prediction a little more.
Sure.
Because the prediction still stands that this for sure is happening. Right? Like I feel like it's being made pretty clear at this point.
There's a lot of arrows pointing to it that like in some way, shape, or form, something of that nature might happen. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, like, what does that actually mean, and how does that play out? Big question mark.
Maybe, by the end of this discussion, by the end of this episode, when we get back around to talking about this...
Mm-hmm. You'll think of something?
Maybe more things will come to me.
Excellent.
So now this is where we learn that Rand is sitting here looking at a small cluster of like wooden hills through a looking glass because about 2,000 to 3,000 of Samael's soldiers left over from the almost battle that happened have gathered here, and they can't just be left to roam the countryside.
Yeah. Everybody else basically dispersed once they found that like Samael was gone or dead or whatever.
King is gone.
King's gone too. He's missing now. So like, okay.
Yeah.
He was still
missing. Yeah.
Yeah. Last book we found out that he went missing like a little, and we assumed it's like Samael. Which kind of makes sense, I guess. So
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one, but there's nothing for it at this point.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, we gotta iron out the crinkles in this Ilian plan. Rand's gotta like firm down his rulership here, and then we can move on to something else.
Fair. So now Rand tries to reach out to Lews Therin, thinking, what would you do? Are you there? Were you ever there?
Nah.
And then we get this whole recap on that situation.
Because he's gone. He's not here right now.
Not here right now.
Yeah, okay.
Although it kind of seems like he's here right now.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm for it. I've been
so you think
my buddy.
Because he imagines the laughter somewhere in his mind.
Yeah.
But, like, is that actually happening? But then at the end of the chapter,
yes, it is.
It's kind of like, okay, he's back.
He's back.
He's back.
Yes.
Oh, and
Don't
we also...
spoil it. That's the big reveal.
I jumped ahead. Okay, but we also get another reference to the swirl of colors just out of sight. There's a lot of weird, funky stuff happening in Ransburg right now. Because we also have to not forget about
weird and new.
He touched balefire streams. We got to not forget about that event stuff from the end of last book. There was a whole bunch of stuff that happened in Shadow Logoth really quickly.
Yeah.
So he's got some like funkiness going on, but we've seen the swirl of colors
and
before that.
Probably, definitely, Moradin had something to do with some things.
Possibly. Yeah, because you're pretty sure that dude was Moradin.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, what happens when balefire touches each other?
But it's balefire from the true source.
True power.
True power.
Yeah, the one power comes from the true source, and the true power comes from the dark one.
Of course.
Yeah, you gotta get that right.
No, it comes from the dark one?
That's what is, yes, that's literally what we've kind of, that's the dark one. All the signs point to, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Moving on.
Not to make it more confusing,
anyways,
but, you know.
Brett, Lews Therin is going to come back, and I'm so excited.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, so now Rand announces that he's going to talk to the soldiers himself, and then we get a whole bunch of names, and we get how everybody feels about this decision.
Yeah.
And basically, they don't want him to go.
Yeah, don't go. Don't go yourself.
Do it.
Send people.
We also get that all these nobles hate each other because there's Ilianers, there's Terrans, there's Kyrianans. There's no one getting along. There's
None of them
Asherman, who they're all skeptical of.
Yeah. They're also, like, insulting each other.
Yep.
And then trying to place blame for this event.
On
each other. So I have some names that we just got to run through real quick that appear in this chapter.
Okay.
And for the record, plus, there's going to be a glossary definition in a second. But not yet.
Ooh.
Not yet. So first off, the Ilianers. We got Lord Gregorin. He's the guy at the end of the Crown of Swords.
Yeah, I remembered that name.
Yeah, he gave Rand alien, basically. He was like the
Gregorian.
main guy. Okay? Then we've got a new guy, Lord Merrick. He's new in this Council of Nine. We've got Dmitri Markolin, the first captain of the Companions. And he's important because this is where we learn that Markolin is old enough to remember Tam Althor
Yeah.
being the second captain above him.
Yeah.
So Tam was actually this guy's like captain.
Yeah.
Very cool. So
That
now
is
it's
cool.
Now it's glossary definition time.
Okay, well, I guess then it's time for glossary definitions with Brett.
Okay, so the Companions, I'm just taking a section of this. So, the elite military formation of Ilion, the Companions provide the bodyguard for the King of Ilion and guard key points around the nation. Additionally, the Companions have traditionally been used in battle to assault the enemy's strongest positions, to exploit weaknesses, and if necessary, to cover the retreat of the king. Unlike most other such elite formations, foreigners, except for Terrans, all Terrans, and Mirandians, are not only welcome, they can even rise to the highest rank, as can commoners, which is also unusual.
Ooh.
So that's how we know Tam is not from Ilion, but he went there, and he joined the ranks, he became second captain
As
of the
long
Companions.
as you're not Altaran, Terran.
Terran or Mirandian.
Is it because they're racist?
Well, probably because those are like competing nations, and then it would be super easy to put us like spies into your network who are the people who guard the king.
Okay,
you know?
that's
So,
true.
As long as you're not from there.
Because that's who
cool.
you're fighting against.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So Tam rose
What
to...
if you're somebody from Andor who's best buddies with a guy in Tyr,
Yeah, totally possible.
and then you go infiltrate? Like, that's something that could happen, too.
It is, but Rand actually has a good thought about this in this chapter, where he's like, any one of these guys who are guarding me, because the Companions are literally guarding him in this chapter, he thinks any one of them could betray me,
Yeah.
but the fact that there's so many of them would keep each other from betraying him. Unless they all ganged up and, like, mutiny style,
Yeah.
tried to assassinate him.
And there's no way everybody's getting along for that here.
Exactly, definitely not. So anyways, Tam is cool, he was in this, and this guy knew Tam, but he's not saying anything about Rand.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, now we got the Terrans. We've got High Lord Weiramon.
Right,
you
that
remember
we
him.
know that guy.
Yeah, he's the stupid guy who charged ahead at the end of Crown of Swords and left all the foot soldiers behind.
Yeah.
He's basically what, like, amped up the timeline for the alien invasion. But also in Fires of Heaven, he was bringing reinforcements from Tyr, and he heard about the Aiel attacking, so he marched hard to get there. So we're kind of okay with him, but he's kind of stupid too.
Okay.
That's basically where we landed on Weiramon.
Okay.
We've got Tolmaran, and we know of him, but not much else more. We've got a new High Lady Rosanna, and then we've got Ericom, Maricon, and Guayam.
Sure we do.
And those are three guys who Rand thinks that these guys are dead. They're dead already. Because in Lord of Chaos, during Colavir's whole thing, Min had a bunch of viewings where these three people are all going to die bloody deaths too. So these three are destined to die, and Rand knows it, but they're not dead yet.
Oh, and that was the same viewing where she saw Colavir hanging.
And then Marengil dying by poison and Mylan by knife. And those three are dead.
Okay.
And then she had this separate viewing about these three also dying bloody deaths.
Ooh, I didn't know or
Yeah.
remember that even remotely.
Yeah, so they're here, and that's why Rand thinks to himself right here, they're
Ooh.
dead, but they don't know it.
Right, yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
know what Rand was going on about, so I just ignored
Yeah,
it.
so that's why.
Okay.
That's why. And then we've got the one Kyrianan, Samaradrid, and he's the one who's been with Weiramon for the last little while. So,
Samiradrid.
yeah, Samaradrid.
Okay. Well, now, they're all arguing about how basically Rand shouldn't go.
Yeah.
And then Rand finally snaps at them and says, "Did I ask for your opinions? No. No, I did not." And he tells Gregorian and Markolin.
Yeah, so that's the main Aliener guy
'Kay.
with the first captain of the Companions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, he says they're going to come with him, plus Dashiva and Hopwill, and those are the Ashaman.
Yes.
Now, everyone else can stay behind, and Dashiva is like muttering to himself as usual, and Hopwell is frowning and staring off, and then Rand does a bit of listening in his brain for Alana
Yeah.
during this time.
A little bit. There's not much, but we can maybe guess what's happening to her.
Well, so she's far away,
Yeah.
and he can barely make anything out, but he thinks there's something more today, and he's felt something several times recently, some sort of shock or outrage.
Yeah.
But she must be feeling it sharply for him to be able to feel it at this distance.
Yeah.
And that's for sure the thing that Codswain told Sorelia.
Yes.
About how, go ahead.
Go ahead, punish her.
Go ahead,
because they
punish
weren't
Alana.
punishing her at all.
Yeah.
Because they're worried about the Rand connection.
Yeah. And they're
now
like,
she's
Rand will barely feel it.
Good.
And Codswain was right.
Yeah, so now it seems like Alana's getting her butt whooped a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
So
or
that
something
shock
shaming.
and outrage.
Something shaming.
Possibly.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit of everything there.
A little bit of everything.
So.
Okay, and then Rand also thinks about how Luce Theron is gone. And so there isn't that old thing where there was all this shouting about death and killing whenever the Ashaman were around.
Yeah, because LTT is the guy who does that, so...
Yes, he certainly does. Now, Rand realizes that the two Illianers are staring at him.
Yeah, the two that are going with him?
Yeah, and they're wondering if he's insane yet, and Rand says out loud, not yet.
Yeah, and I always have to imagine, because, like, in Rand's brain... Sure, you're, like, thinking about things, but again, were you muttering to yourself?
Right.
What were you doing to make them stare at you like this? Like, oh my god, what's happening?
Yeah.
Were you giggling? Were you...
Yeah.
Like, who knows?
Yeah. Now, the five of them start riding out, and Rand has some more time to think about how he has so much to deal with and how he needs more time, especially with the news that Hopwill reported.
Yeah. So Hopwill clearly went on a mission and came back.
Right. And we do find out about that later.
Yeah, so we can put it off for a second.
Okay. Now, as they're riding, we do get an interesting tidbit here about how Rand had personally raised Hopwill to Ashaman.
Yeah, like full rank of Ashaman.
Where he gets the dragon pin and everything.
Exactly.
But now he's just like staring, unblinking, and then finally we find out why.
Yeah, because, like, the mission wasn't a good one for Hopwill, so he's in a very not good headspace right now.
Well, and at the same time, I kind of disagree with all of that.
Okay.
Because this is all from Rand's point of view, and yeah, that mission would be difficult for Rand.
Yeah. Okay, so...
But he's, like, projecting a little bit.
He definitely is projecting the woman thing.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about what happened. So Rand found out from merchants in Ilion that they knew about the Shan-Chen invading for a few days before they informed the Council on Nine. So that's a funny side note because that was Fael's thing about like, oh, Rand will find out about the Shan-Chen because of merchants, whatever. So maybe Perrin doesn't need to send word to Rand. Anyways.
Well, maybe when Perrin knew, it might have been before the merchants knew, and Rand could have known about this several days ago.
Possibly. That's a fair point. So anyways, Rand learns about this, so he sends Hopwill to travel to Amador to investigate, and it seems like the Shan-Chen are sitting tight in Amador for the time being. Sounds like they're hunkering down a little bit here. So then Rand asks, hey, are you upset about the women thing that you had to kill them?
Yeah.
And then
in his own head, he's going through his own like list of names, and yeah.
Yeah, because that's clearly an issue that Rand has. And then even when Rand tries to say, like, hey, I told you about the whole Damani and Suldam thing, and you did what you had to do, because if you didn't wipe out an entire Shan-Chen patrol, and that's when we find out what actually happened. So Hopwill ran into a Shan-Chen patrol with Suldam and Damani, and he wiped everybody, he killed them all, and then he piled all their bodies up into a pile.
And horses and everything.
And horses and everything, and then burned them all to ash.
And he says it didn't bother him at all.
I mean, here's the thing.
And I believe him.
I believe... Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like it does bother him, but not specifically like, oh, I had to kill women. It's like I had to murder everybody, and what's becoming to me... Like, what am I doing here? Like, what's actually... I murdered a whole bunch of people.
Maybe, but I also think that maybe this staring, unblinking thing is like a numbness, and maybe just like murdering and burning people is just like a whatever.
You know what? And that's,
you know, because that's
totally
also
possible.
Like either way, it's not a good end of the.
Yeah, I was gonna say for
spectrum.
Hopwill, it's like bad either way.
Yeah,
but maybe he is fine with it.
But I think because Rand thinks, oh, he's lying. It for sure is bothering him because it would bother Rand.
Right? Not killing the men and piling up the bodies and burning them all to ash. But the women thing, so that the projection definitely is there on that side of things.
Right.
It's just whether or not Hopwill... Would he be, like, crazy? Is he, like, just numb to it? Is he...
Maybe it's all of it.
Maybe a little bit of everything. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the whole issue. But anyways, at least Rand knows about the Shanshan.
He
and
does.
That they're back. That's good.
And then in this whole thing, we get that recap of his list of women's names, and it now includes some people who Rand even recognizes, like, shouldn't be there.
Right,
Like
yeah.
a Red Sister who was involved in his capture.
Yep.
And Moraine. And Colavir.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Just anybody gets on that list
Any
now.
woman ever in the world to die,
Yes.
Rand is going to take personal responsibility for.
You know what? And again, if we're gonna not blame Hopwell for his, feel, Rand also has a bad deal here, so maybe he's not in full control of his brain. So,
for sure.
Maybe the whole women list for, being responsible for their death, not totally to blame. Got to cut him a little bit of slack.
No. That bothers me and I hate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he maybe hates it too, but.
Well, no. Well, yes.
I'm saying this isn't just like a complete Rand thing. There's gotta be a factor of taint and madness and pressure and stress all bundled into this list.
Well, sure, but even from the beginning, it was like, I have no problem just like killing a dude who's after me, but I can't kill a woman who's after me.
Yeah, and that's the old-timey
And that's the
values
problem.
thing. So
That's
okay.
the problem.
All right. Oh, also for the record, I'm pretty sure it says in this chapter that Hopwell is like 16. He's like very young. He's young, so that also isn't good that he's just able to kill everyone and not feel any kind of way about it. Or,
right.
I mean, maybe he is lying about not feeling
Either
anything,
or.
so either
not
way,
good
it's not
situation.
good. Yeah.
Okay, so Gregorian calls out because they're approaching the group of soldiers.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting there.
And then a rider is coming out from the trees, and Rand asks this guy if he is the leader here. And the guy's like, yeah, basically. Why?
Yeah.
Why are you asking?
This guy's being a disrespectful little jerk.
Oh, yeah.
Number one. Number two, quit being a jerk. Disrespectful. This is Randall Thor.
Okay, well, that's what Gregorian snaps at the man.
I also love that his name changes every time he says
Randall Thor, the Dragon Reborn, Lord of the Morning, and King of Ilion. Now, where did that Lord of the Morning thing come from? Is that Rand who decided that because he wants to be Lews Therin?
Yeah, maybe.
Isn't Lord of the Morning, isn't that from the Dragonmount prologue?
Yeah, I mean, that's like one of the names of like LTT, so,
Yes.
But
how would Rand know that?
Well, that's everybody know. That's not a secret.
I'm going to counter that because Rand didn't even know the name of Ilyena.
That has nothing to do. That was like, LTT's title. Lord of the Morning isn't like a hidden, nobody knows about this title. I
don't know. I just don't think that Rand knows all this. I don't know.
Okay.
And
that's
like,
not
why
like a
is it just like
name.
part of his name now?
Because he's Lews Therin, reborn.
Did he choose it or did they choose it for him?
It's a good question.
How did that come about? That's
Yeah.
what I want to know.
I want to know that.
We're missing so much critical information and there's like so much other crap that doesn't matter at all in here.
Well, it's got to be a little bit of mystery.
I don't like it.
I was just looking up, too, Lord of the Morning. We've gotten that a whole bunch. A lot of it in Lews Therin's mind. He thinks about, like, oh, I'm the Lord of the Morning.
Yeah.
But we've also gotten it, like, way back even in Eye of the World, where people know that Lews Therin was called the Lord of the Morning. Like, that's been a thing. The banner of the Lord of the Morning, like, it's been all over the place.
Okay,
So,
I believe you.
yeah.
Anyway, so this rebel guy clearly doesn't like Rand. He eyes him up and down, makes a comment about his fancy clothes, and then he tells Rand that he's not going to kneel to him. And then Rand can feel Hopwell embrace Saidin and start looking at the wood line with a wild light in his eyes.
Yeah, because there's like 2,000-3,000 men in the bush.
Yeah.
Right, waiting, watching. So,
which is another instance of me not really being able to comprehend actually how many people that is, because that feels like a lot of people to me, to just be like hiding in the woods.
Yeah, I mean, it's a forest, so.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right, we got to get 2,000-3,000 people together.
Yeah.
Go hide in the woods and see if.
Because that's kind of like Perrin's group, right? Like that's how many people.
Yes.
Essentially, he has.
Definitely. Yeah.
Just in a camp somewhere.
Yeah, roughly.
Okay.
It works.
That's fine.
Roughly the same size. But it's like there's 5 of them here.
Okay, so Rand starts talking before Gregorian escalates things, and he tells the man, my offer is generous, and then he makes the weave so his voice carries through the trees.
Right, so all the men who are watching can hear what's going on.
Yep.
Yep.
And he tells them that anyone who wants to return home can do so, and anyone who wants to follow him can do that too.
It's fair.
But nobody leaves here armed unless they do commit to following Rand.
Yeah.
And that kind of feels Sean Cheney, except for the you can leave thing. But
Yeah.
the like, if you swear to me, then you can remain armed.
Yeah.
Like that's...
He doesn't want people to turn bandits.
Yeah.
So, like, I get where he's coming from.
But
And
like,
also...
even people who leave, even if they leave their weapon here,
Yeah.
who's to say they can't just pick one up
Get a new
somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, it's the thought behind it. Like, hey, you can join my forces. It's all cool.
Yeah.
Like, I get that there was another guy in charge, but I'm in charge now.
And I get that you were literally gearing up to fight me.
Yeah.
But now guess what? I've won.
I won, and you can join me, or you can just, like, peace out, but you don't get to try and keep attacking me.
Yeah.
And I don't want you raiding the countryside.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happens when someone conquers your city. That's what
assume,
happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then someone shouts from the trees, hey, what about the dragon sword? And what about the Aiel?
Yeah.
Because that's, like, clearly a huge issue
Fair
everywhere
questions.
right now.
Fair questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you say you don't want bandits, but, like, literally,
Yeah.
it feels like a bunch of people who follow you are bandits.
Yeah, Dragonsworn and Aiel.
Yeah. And then Rand starts losing his temper a little bit and says, those Aiel are my enemies, and my Aiel are hunting them down, and Bashir and the companions are hunting down the bandits.
Okay. Which is really interesting that we've got Bashir and the companions hunting down bandits, which would be like the Dragonsworn possibly too.
Yeah.
And we also know that, like, Perrin is going to be, like, hunting down
The Prophet.
the Prophet and the Dragonsworn, maybe.
Well, I think that the Dragonsworn that Bashir is hunting down
Different ones.
is that whole, like, White Cloak plot,
Okay.
right? Because
Yeah.
that was part of it.
There's a whole mix, and basically Dragonsworn are bandits.
Yeah.
And there's so many groups, but it's just funny because it's like, ooh, what's the next meetup? what meetups are gonna happen? So.
Yeah, and then at this point, Rand's done explaining himself, and he tells them they have until midday to decide, and they better make the right decision.
Yes.
So now Rand is pissed off. He gallops off and doesn't wait for the others. He lets go of the power, and when he does that, he sees double, and the world tilts dizzily.
Yeah, so that's probably bad.
Yep. And that's something that's been happening to him lately every time he lets go of the power.
Yes, and he is concerned that the dizziness, when he lets go of the power, that's part of the sickness that's gonna kill him.
Okay.
From the taint.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's probably why he's starting to think about getting this thing fixed up.
Yeah.
Getting this cleansed.
It's not a bad idea to maybe do that.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, Rand starts, like, raging in his head about the Shanshan and the bandits hiding in his name, and he wonders if Samael somehow had a hand in the Shido because they're, like, all over Mirandy and Altara, and a bunch of the Shido that have already been taken prisoner are talking about Aes Sedai, so maybe this is some kind of White Tower plot somehow.
Yeah, he's got some solid guesses,
Yeah.
and he's right the first time with Samael, you know, plopping everyone down in the middle of the country. So.
Yeah. But he's like, even the way he thinks it, though, is like, how could he have possibly done this from the dead?
Yeah, and also, but why? But why would he do that, too? What's the point?
Yeah.
And Samael's point was to cause chaos.
Yes.
Because his instructions were...
And you know what? I don't know if we actually explicitly talked about it.
Yeah.
But when we were in Grandel's perspective a couple chapters ago, she was thinking about how the instructions were to cause chaos.
Yeah, let the Lord of Chaos rule.
Yes.
Cause chaos as much as he can.
Yeah. So when Ryan gets back to the camp, he tells everybody there that he gave the soldiers until midday, but to watch them so they don't break up into like 50 new groups and scatter.
Yeah, because that is possible too, that they all just like take off.
Absolutely.
And that's worse because there's lots of little groups of people in the countryside
causing
chaos. Like the Aiel.
Yeah.
Which you were like, that's probably good.
Well, I was being optimistic.
You were very. Are you still optimistic?
I'm thinking that there are some benefits still.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I do think that the Shido as a full connected group
would be bad.
Could be doing way worse
than all separated.
All separated, kind of causing a little bit of havoc.
I get that. And that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a solid point.
Yeah.
One big collective group of Shido is probably worse than little groups who are kind of disconnected, and clearly, from Savannah's perspective, they're not having a good time right now.
No. That's true too.
Well, Savannah's, yeah.
The
yeah.
Shido are dispersed and not connected as a whole, and in general, for me, that feels better.
Yeah. Not great, but better.
No, and I understand that, yes, this is a nuisance and this is bad, but not as bad as it could be.
Totally fair.
The end. So that's this chapter.
Yeah, but it ends with Rand thinking that he is steel.
Ooh.
I gotta be steel, which is right off the chapter with Cerulean and Cadsuin saying,
you can't be hard.
You can't be
you
steel.
Have to be strong.
You gotta be like, what is it? Like, don't be the tree that breaks in the wind. Be the willow that bends with the wind, right?
Yes, you have to be strong but not hard, because strong endures and hard breaks.
Yes, love it.
That's the same.
That's it.
Okay, so let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get into chapter 14.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back. Let's get into chapter 14, Message from the Mahale.
Yes, love it.
And the chapter symbol is the Dragon's Fang.
Yeah, yeah.
For Sidene?
Probably. Like, it's between Rand and the Ashaman, like...
Dark Friends? Dark Friend.
Okay, well, Dragon's Fang doesn't always denote...
Okay, last time we saw Dragon Fang, you're like, well, there's some Dark Friends, maybe it's that.
Yeah.
So, now what? Now what are you going for?
The Dragon's Fang started off with, like, that being Rand and
so let me
Sidene,
tell you about what Torval is.
Oh, yeah, Torval's a dick, but
Dark Friend.
Interesting. Okay.
Dark Friend working for Demandred.
Just, okay, okay. Yep, okay.
Did you
have
forget?
You have to convince me.
Did you forget?
I did forget a little bit, but you have to you gotta convince me.
I actually don't.
These baseless accusations against Torval, who is just, a guy.
He's the worst.
He is, right from the beginning, because this isn't the first time we met him.
Right from the beginning.
He was the guy who, when Rand first showed up, Torval was like, it doesn't look like the dragon. I bet I could take this guy. And then Taim, clips him on the side of the head and knocks him out. And then gets a couple other Ashaman to, drag him off.
There is one instance.
That's Torval.
Is it?
That's Torval, the guy who gets clipped in the head. Yeah.
So there is one instance this chapter, where specifically I'm not sure.
Okay.
Maybe I'll remember when we start talking. But there is an instance where Rand notes that Torval is more fearful of Taim being upset.
Okay.
That, Torval's, done something wrong, than he is of actually, Rand being upset.
Right,
or of him actually doing something wrong.
Because Rand says, well, do I have to go to the Black Tower and tell Taim myself, or whatever?
Yes.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's fine, I'll,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you don't want to upset Demandred.
Right, okay, totally. He would not be happy.
No.
He doesn't want to see Rand come in again to his school.
Yeah.
Be a butthole.
Yeah.
Rand being the butthole.
Oh.
That was my point the first time. Rand was a giant butthole.
Uh-huh.
I don't like Rand's actions in that initial meeting.
I know you don't.
So.
I know, I get it.
Okay.
Okay. So we're still in Rand's perspective. Rand is in his camp. We get some more information on how things are going for Rand, and it's all, not good.
Yeah.
While the Aiel were here, all the different nation soldiers would form a camp because they were equally afraid of the Aiel.
Yeah.
But now that the Aiel have gone off and dispersed to do something else, we don't know where they've gone, right?
The Aiel are going to go hunt the Shido and stuff. We just talked about that. Bashir and the companions are hunting.
But the
bandits.
Aiel are with them?
The Aiel went to go hunt the Shido.
Oh, my Aiel are going.
Rand's Aiel are going to go hunt the Shido. Bashir and the companions are hunting down the bandits. So now his camp is basically just all the...
Yeah.
The Wetlanders.
The leftovers.
The Illianers, the Terrans, the Kyrianen. And none of them like each other.
Okay,
and now
so now that the Aiel are
groups.
gone,
Yeah.
Rand's just hoping that they follow and obey him, and that'll be enough for now.
Yeah, it's they don't have to like him. They just got to listen. And so far they are.
Yeah.
They are listening and obeying Rand.
Okay.
So
the largest of the camps is his own.
The Illianers are his...
Illianers.
Illianers. Those from Ilion.
And the companions.
Yeah. Because remember, he's official king.
Yeah, they take their job of protecting him very seriously.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he's the king.
And he's taken over all the stuff of the king.
Yeah, he's the king. This is his home
his giant
nation
tent
now.
And everything.
All the stuff.
And then we get that Flynn, who's the super old Ashaman, right?
Yes, he's the guy who's the veteran, been through some shit, got some wounds.
I'm gonna have to start a list, I think, of the Ashaman we're actually involved with, because I was able to keep track of it before.
There's more.
There's more
yeah.
and more and more that we're starting to actually get names of and having to remember.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Aes Sedai now.
The list is expanding. So just as a reference here, Rand thinks that he trusts Flynn more than most because Flynn was directly involved in saving Rand's life.
Yeah.
He's the healer guy.
The healer.
Right.
Okay. So Flynn salutes and tells Rand that Torval is here, sent by the Mahale.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's waiting in another tent, and Narishma is watching him.
Yeah, Narishma is the Arrow-Felon guy with the bells in his hair.
That's right. So now Rand also thinks that he wants anyone who comes from the Black Tower to not be left alone.
Yeah, and he's not sure why he gave that order, but he gave the order, nobody who comes from the Black Tower gets left alone, so that's why Narishma is currently watching Torval.
Right, okay. Now,
in the tent.
My new theory, there are several instances this chapter where we sort of get this meshing of Lews Therin's thoughts into Rand's own thoughts, and then I started thinking about, like, maybe that's why you can't hear Lews Therin anymore, because his thoughts are your thoughts.
Yeah, okay.
Now, maybe you're like mind melded together.
Let me try to, okay. So you're implying that the order to make sure nobody who's left alone is from the Black Tower is left alone, that's a LTT order that LTT gave? Sort of. It's like LTT is Rand is LTT
maybe,
is
but
Rand.
He really would just order them all dead.
But it's like, why am I giving that order? I don't know why I do that. But it's like, why don't you know what you did or why you did it?
That's the query for me.
Okay.
Is why do you not know?
Yeah.
He's trusting his gut.
It's a very, like, Fight Clubby. Yeah. Is it Brad Pitt or is it Ed Norton who's really in charge here?
Don't know.
Which one's which?
No idea.
Is Rand Ed Norton or is Rand Brad Pitt? And is Lews Therin Ed Norton?
Who's Brad Pitt?
Who's Brad Pitt?
Because
that's the question.
Because Brad Pitt does not impress me much. So
okay, fair.
So it's Rand then.
Okay.
Because Lews Therin impresses me.
Rand is Brad Pitt.
And Rand doesn't.
I don't know if that fits with the canon.
No,
okay, that's okay.
It doesn't.
That's okay.
It doesn't really fit. Although, I mean, like 3 women.
I mean, Ed Norton also played the Hulk, so
he did. I didn't know. I don't.
There's
even
a version.
Know, really.
Yep.
I'm like trying to follow along with what you're talking about, but I saw Fight Club like once.
Okay, it's really just
I get the gist of the movie, but like,
they're the same person.
Got it. Oh, spoiler!
It's been out for like 25 years.
Oh my gosh!
And it's a book before that. Like, come on.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I don't think it's been 25 years. 15 years? I don't know.
You want to look it up?
Yeah, I do. That's pretty close. 1999.
Okay.
Almost 25 years.
Wow, good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Good for you.
I'm surprised.
Yeah. That was you exaggerating, though. Like, you didn't actually know it was 25 years.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, anyways, let's get back to this, because Rand goes to the tent to meet with Torval. I don't like this name. Torval.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's inside looking at maps on the table, and Rand does not like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what do you need to be looking at maps for? Like, quit it.
Exactly.
And he knows that you can't train men to be weapons without expecting some arrogance, and he has to lead them because they're his responsibility.
Yeah, and again, this is because Torval has met Rand before, because he was the guy who was immediately rude to him the first time he went to the Black Tower.
Yeah.
And then Tywin clipped him in the head. So that's the same guy. So that's why he also has that, like, okay, well, I already kind of don't like him from the last time, and I don't like him
and
this
also
time.
Because Lews Therin is in his head.
Yeah.
Not liking him.
Not liking
him specifically, which we'll get into at the end.
Okay. And just for the record, Rand feels another flash of color just beyond the edge of his sight, and then the feel of someone about to touch him from behind. We get that a couple times this chapter of, like, weird stuff going on with color, and then Rand feeling like someone's touching him from behind.
Weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that. I don't know.
Okay.
It's all something fishy's going on here.
Something's happening with Rand.
And I will note it.
Okay, be on the lookout. Keep your radar on.
Noted.
Yeah.
And then when something happens, I'll be like, yes. I didn't get that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about why Torval is terrible.
Okay, so Torval starts off super arrogant, congratulates Rand for taking Ilion, and says there would have been wine, but this young dedicated doesn't understand orders.
Mm-hmm.
And Narishma here definitely seems to take offense since they're all full Ashaman now. And you know what this scenario is?
No.
Saladar Aes Sedai scenario.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay. Totally.
This is Saladar Aes Sedai scenario. So, the rest of the Aes Sedai don't see them as full Aes Sedai because they didn't go through the process at the White Tower to become full Aes Sedai.
Love it.
Now, there are Ashaman who are becoming Ashaman not through the processes of the Black Tower.
And not from their leader, the Mahale.
Right.
From just the stupid Dragon Reborn.
Right. Which I would say is, like, better.
You'd think so.
Yeah, but no. So the guys at the Black Tower think, oh, not really.
Yeah.
Because. And.
That's like a community college degree, and we went to whatever Ivy League school. Right. Right? There's some, upperclassness. A little bit.
Yes, classist. A little bit. But same situation, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's a great comparison.
Yeah, and so now Rand gets to the point and asks Torval why he's here.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So Torval gives him a letter from Taim and tells Rand that part of the message is that there are rumors of rebel Aes Sedai in Mirandi with an army marching towards the Black Tower.
Yes, okay. So, do we think that is Egwene?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, because Elida technically does have a group of Aes Sedai
coming from a different direction,
actually marching on the Black Tower.
They are, but
Unfortunately for them, I think.
Yeah.
Although, except now with these orders.
Okay. Yep.
Although the orders are, don't hurt the Aes Sedai unless they are attacking you.
Exactly. Yes.
Like, I do have that as, like,
don't go like seek them out, but like if they get attacked, you can play defense.
Then you can, yeah.
But yeah, no, for sure not.
And they don't have an army.
Wrong direction.
Right, and these Aes Sedai have an army, and that's what Egwene has.
Yeah.
So Rand tells them that the Aes Sedai are headed to Caemlyn, not the Black Tower. They're not a threat. And Torval pushes back a bit, but then Rand slams the tabletop and says, I said, leave them alone.
Leave them alone.
Unless they come after you.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
So at this point...
Oh, man. Okay.
He has, like, the dragon scepter under his hand that he slammed
he slammed it down.
Slammed it down.
Yeah.
And now he's thinking about taking the dragon scepter, which is actually half a spear, right?
Yeah, it's the Shanshan spear.
But it's the spear end?
Yeah, it has the pointy end.
Oh.
It's like the top half of the spear.
See, in my mind...
The tassels.
Yeah.
But now it's been, like, carved and stuff.
Yeah.
They like, carved it into, like, a dragon scepter.
So I always thought it was the top half.
What's the top half of a spear to you?
Well, I thought that maybe it was, like, ornate with, like, tassels on the end.
Like not the pointy end.
Not the pointy end.
Okay.
Because in my mind, a scepter is, like, just a wooden stick.
Sure, yeah.
And, like, maybe the end of the spear had tassels on it. Because Shanshan are weird with stuff.
Okay.
And so I never realized that this thing he's been carrying around and casually throwing around and laying on his arm and whatever
is a sharp pointy spear.
Is a sharp pointy spear.
Has the spear on the end. So I don't know if I've ever critically examined my thoughts on this.
Did you think it was the pointy end?
I've always thought it was. I never even questioned the fact that it wasn't the pointy end. And now I'm trying to think have I missed something here? But I'm pretty sure I've seen artwork too, and maybe...
well, like, I don't get to look at artwork until I'm allowed to look at it.
But I've never thought of it any other way. But I could be wrong, but I don't think that I am.
Well, no, because here, clearly, it's the spear end.
I mean, if you push hard enough, you could shove a not pointy end through someone's face.
I'm pretty sure
that it's a pointy end.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
he wants to stab him. He wants to stab him with the spear.
And that's when I went, what?
Yeah, because it's the spear. Because it got cut off.
Yeah. I thought
in the gateway.
Yeah. I guess if it was...
Someone threw it.
Yeah,
so the pointy end landed on this side. Yeah.
It just... I never thought about it at all.
I never thought about it the other way, so that's,
The word scepter in my mind looks like one thing, and it doesn't look like a spear.
That's fair. So, just for the record, too, the Shanshan spear doesn't have the same, like... spearhead that an Aiel spear has, because we know the Aiel spear has like 2.5 feet of metal.
Yeah.
Whereas a Shanshan spear probably doesn't have that much metal on
Right.
it. Because the Shanshan spear are just basically like
For sure.
mostly
They're
metal.
Tassel-y.
They're like,
where's the tassel on top of the
near the spear point,
hanging
down. So when I stab you with it, the tassels
go dingle dangle.
Exactly.
It makes my stabbing look pretty. Like, why? I always thought it was at the top end.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Things to think about.
It's weird. It's like one of those things that I didn't know I had a picture of in my mind until
it's like
it's
wrong.
Described differently than I'm picturing it.
Okay. Well, anyways,
I'm sure nobody else thought of it the way I did. I'm sure it's described as a spear end at one point. Yeah. But in my brain...
That's why you worry me sometimes. Like, have I just been wrong my entire life?
No.
And it could be.
It's just, I don't... Typically, when you read things, you don't talk about it out loud.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Rand wants to stab Torval through the face with it.
Do it. Heart.
Well.
Through the heart.
The heart of his face. Okay.
And I say do it.
Do it. Why not?
I think so.
And also, Narishma seems to pick up because Rand has his hand on it on the table, and Narishma, Rand notices, is like noticing Rand wanting to stab Torval through the heart. Yeah. He's like, oh no, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Because he like untenses when Rand finally lets go and like, okay, I'm not going to kill him.
And then that's when the like threatening comes into place. Do I have to go?
Yeah.
Do I have to go tell your dad that you messed up?
Yeah, he's like, he just wanted you to know. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Rand does a bit more threatening and says he'll kill anyone who goes near the Aes Sedai women.
We got some more fancy stuff happening in the Black Tower with the morning directives that they go through after the Creed.
Which is apparently Rand's direction. But I'm sure Taim makes it his own.
For sure. Why wouldn't you? It's his school.
Well, because he's a Forsaken.
That's what you keep saying.
No.
You're not providing me with more besides Torval's not very nice.
I think I already did.
Just because he's a bully.
No, I already did.
I know.
He's scared of the Mahale.
Okay.
That's point one.
Point 1 of 7.
Point 1 of 2. It's 2. There's a 2-point plan.
Oh, it's 2-point plan. Okay,
it's 2 points.
That's better than 1.
The point is coming at the end. The next point is coming. So Narishma is watching Rand pretty closely until Rand finally lets go of the Dragon Spear. That's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And then the servants arrive with refreshments.
Phew, break the
And then Rand finally reads the letter, and it's basically just a numbers.
Yeah, it's reporting on what's happening. It's good. But these are pretty important numbers. So we've got 29 full Ashaman. We've got 97 dedicated.
Although, are we counting the Ashaman with Rand?
Probably not.
Is this all at the Black Tower only?
I would say this is just at the Black Tower. Okay. I think that anyone who's not at the Black Tower is not accounted for in these numbers.
Okay.
That would make sense.
Because we also have 2 with Perrin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not full Ashaman.
Okay.
1 a dedicated, 1 a soldier.
Okay.
But anyways, 97 dedicated, 322 soldiers are enrolled at the Black Tower. There's been a handful of deserters, and there's acceptable numbers of losses in training, as expected, because we got to teach them fast, which makes sense. Mm-hmm. And Taim has around 50 recruiting parties in the field at any given time, so about 3 to 4 men are added per day to the list of men coming in. So in a few months, the Black Tower is going to equal the White Tower, and in a year, Tar Valon will tremble at her numbers.
And then there's some sneaky,
yes. And that's the question, like, what's actually happening in this phrase? So then, at the end, he says, I harvested that blackberry bush myself, a small bush and thorny, but a surprising number of berries for the size.
Yes.
What do you think it means?
I think that there was somewhere that they went to get numbers for the Black Tower, to do some recruiting.
It was small and thorny, but surprisingly, there's a lot of berries for the size of the bush.
I want to say Tar Valon, maybe?
Okay. In the context of the letter, that makes sense, because that was the last place he talked about. Because in the letter it says, in a few months the Black Tower will equal the White. In a year, Tar Valon will tremble at her numbers, ... I harvested that blackberry bush myself.
Yeah.
So if it is like a secret plan between Rand and Taim to like do that maybe, or he just wants Rand to know like I went there, And that's pretty risky for time to go to Tar Valon and find people. But, I mean, it kind of also makes sense where power is attracted to power, so why wouldn't, you know? It'd be a weird place to find people, you would think.
Because a bunch of men
being able to channel
who can
in Tar Valon
probably wouldn't go to Tar Valon. Yeah. That's why I was just thinking, like, a surprising place to find men who can channel.
Yeah,
would probably be Tar Valon.
It's a cool thought process.
Or, like, Shan Chen, somewhere weird that they don't want to talk about.
The size thing doesn't really fit with that. Like, we don't necessarily know.
A small,
right?
Okay.
Because Shan Chen is the whole other side of the ocean from
I can't really think of anywhere else it would be surprising to find men who can channel.
Yeah.
And a lot of them in one place.
Yeah. So either it was like they talked about it beforehand, where he's like, I harvested that or in the context of the letter saying, I harvested that blackberry bush myself.
Yeah.
And then, like, what does blackberry mean? Maybe it means something else.
Maybe it's something completely different.
Why did you choose blackberry? What's a nation known for blackberries? I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Read back through all the different types of fruit punch.
Yep. Which one was blackberry? Right.
Lots of plums.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of other
fruit stuff. Okay, so anyways, solid numbers because we got 448 total people.
Yeah, and for now, Rand puts the, quote, blackberry bush out of his mind, and he thinks about the new recruits because even with 3 to 4 men per day, joining the Black Tower might equal the White Tower, sure, but I still have years, if not decades of training before they become Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
And one Aes Sedai might not equal exactly one Ashaman.
That's a very good point. But it also seems like if you want weapons, the Black Tower is already way better at that than the Aes Sedai.
Well, and this whole idea of like matching the White Tower and equaling the White Tower, all of that's fine, but why? Is the end goal to battle the White Tower?
Yeah.
Like, no?
Yeah, let's do it.
Unless you're a Forsaken.
Ooh, okay.
But even Rand got swept up in the, let's be bigger and better than the White Tower.
Yeah.
Because of it's like a, I don't know, rivalry thing.
Well, a little bit. It's like they used to be, like Aes Sedai used to be men and women.
But if the goal here is recruiting people who can channel to fight the Dark One at the last battle, shouldn't it, like, not fully matter?
True.
That whole White Tower business is, like, why are we comparing ourselves so much unless there's some kind of plan to beat them all?
Yeah. Well, maybe, and that could be an issue where it's like, they are men who can channel, and they're destined to go mad, so, hypothetically, they need to be able to defend themselves from the White Tower. If the White Tower came full force down on them, they have to be able to match the White Tower.
Yeah.
So that they're not only maybe taken seriously, but if push comes to shove, that they're not all just like captured and gentle.
Well, and I think that they're in a better position considering they can just like kill anyone.
Indiscriminately, like, just like everybody.
At will.
Yeah.
Whatever. Whereas the Aes Sedai typically don't respond that way.
Well, they can travel. They can do meat grinders. They can do a lot of stuff.
That's it. That's what they can do. They can travel in meat grinder, and it's better than everything.
Fight with swords.
Yeah.
They got, like, battle plans.
Yeah.
We haven't seen any of that from Aes Sedai.
Even the battle
Aja, we haven't seen anything from them doing stuff.
Zero.
They're little, if the Forsaken attack us, this is their plan. Form circles. We did get to see that.
Yeah, and even Nynaeve was like, that's a terrible plan.
This is a bad plan.
Even Nynaeve. When Nynaeve knows plans, okay?
Yeah.
This is a bad one.
Okay. So something to think about. Okay.
So Rand asks Torval how many deserters there have been.
Yes.
And this is a bit of a menacing conversation, but it comes out that there have been 19 deserters so far, and Taim has ordered them killed when found, and there's already 3 heads hanging from the traitor's tree.
Yeah, so Taim definitely likes his names. That makes sense. The White Tower has all that stuff too. We've got like the traitor's court and stuff like that. So I get the naming thing, but it is interesting that Rand agrees with the whole we gotta kill the deserters thing.
Yeah.
If you're gonna run now, you're gonna run later, and we can't just let you go off in the world.
Yeah, you can't be loose.
You can't.
with all this knowledge, now you're...
And the madness part, like, it's gonna happen, so...
Yeah, and then that really is terrible for PR.
It's not good.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
What a nightmare
We're learning that with the Aiel thing, with the Shido, ruining the good name of the Aiel.
That's right.
Terrible.
Well, that's the whole Aes Sedai thing, too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The PR nightmare with the tower breaking.
Right?
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
A lot to clean up.
So much. So Rand tells Torval that the next time he's at the Black Tower, he'll want to see every deserter's head. And...
What's the time frame, Rand?
Yeah.
When are you coming?
I know.
Like, when's the next
Torval
visit?
says, well, that might interfere with recruiting.
Yeah.
And then Rand asks about the training losses. So there have been 51 total, 13 burned out, 28 dead, and the rest, the Mahale adds something to their wine and they don't wake up.
This is actually a very interesting note for, like, what happens and the madness.
And how Taim is determining when somebody should just die in their sleep.
Well, I mean, he does, like, okay, I gotta play defense here.
Yeah.
Torval does bring up, like, hey, it can happen suddenly. Because one time a guy woke up screaming about spiders crawling under his skin, so maybe it's time for you to not be here anymore.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I agree.
Yeah.
But I also think it's a touch dangerous to be like, oh, this guy's going crazy.
Oh, that's because you don't trust
You're
Taim.
right.
That's the issue.
This is how we get rid of guys who aren't Dark Friends in the Black Tower.
This is wild. You are throwing accusations like left and right here.
It's a more fun way to read the book.
It is. Okay, so everybody who's at the Black Tower...
Oh, I'm sure there's a huge
Everyone's
number.
Dark Friends
I'm sure
because
there's a big
Taim
number
is
now.
murdering the
Which
non-Dark
is why,
Friends.
okay, so this is why, in my mind, this needs to get addressed soon.
By who?
Oh, Rand is gonna have to figure this out.
There's 29 Ashaman. There's like
puzzle,
96.
There's a puzzle that needs to get figured out soon.
Okay.
Because Taim can't be the leader here anymore.
Well, good thing we have someone
I was
on their
gonna
way
say,
to the Black Tower.
I was just gonna say that.
Okay,
Go with
it. Go with it. Logain's on his way, and you don't think that that's going to go immediately terrible if, in fact, Taim is Demandred, and he has his whole party of, like, Dark Friend buddies now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, see ya, Logain, who's destined for glory somehow.
Oh, see?
All right?
He is.
He is destined for glory.
He's the one who's going to do it all.
He's going to do what?
Figure it out.
Figure it out. Okay.
And get him.
Get him! Yeah!
Except make sure you balefire him, Logain.
Right?
Because he'll
Otherwise
just come back.
And then he'll be really annoyed.
Ugh. Rand doesn't even know yet.
Rand doesn't yet know that people
come back. No one knows.
Yeah, not really.
No.
No
one knows that yet.
Debatably, the Forsaken barely even know.
Don't know.
Yeah.
From what we've seen.
Yeah. They're like, who's this new person?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, so... interesting note. Yep. So I've been going back through some of our older episodes.
Okay.
Because I've been optimizing our ads in our older episodes to make sure that they're, kind of hit in a spot that's either between chapters.
Yeah,
or
not like super jarring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not in the middle of a conversation or something. And so I'm doing that all manually right now. But so I was back in season 4.
Oh, okay.
And that was when we first learned about Taim. Or around that time.
Okay.
And I listened to this whole segment about... I was talking about how Logain and Taim and Rand were going to, all team up.
Yeah.
And I said that Taim was actually going to come be a helpful guy to Rand.
Mm-hmm.
And I said specifically, Taim is going to be Robin to Rand's Batman.
Yeah.
I said those words.
You're kind of not wrong.
I know. No, that's a huge gold star for me.
Oh.
He's literally second guy right now.
I mean, if you're right about the Demandred thing, that's a bad Robin. Bad Robin.
It's a bad situation.
Evil
However,
Robin.
in the books, this happened.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I said that. Like, whatever.
Yeah, you say a lot of shocking things.
A year and a half ago.
Yeah.
That turned out to be right.
Yes. Sometimes.
Wow.
Sometimes very wrong.
Yeah.
So, like,
But anyways, I wanted to point that out. I wrote it on a sticky note
That's
because
good.
I wanted to remember that I said that. I was impressed with myself. Specifically. Anyway, okay, where are we? Because, okay, so the guys are being murdered.
Yep.
And Torval thinks that this is kinder than gentling, which I agree with.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
If it's being done, in fact, for madness reasons and not nefarious, the Mahale Demandred Taim is murdering you for not being a bad guy.
But
so, yeah, okay.
Interesting to think about.
Yeah.
So now this whole conversation is like a major downer for all these men standing in a tent who can channel and are destined to go crazy.
Right.
So Fedwin Moore, which is someone we know and have heard of before.
Yep, he was part of the secret Ilian plan last book.
And he also has been raised by Rand?
Yes, they're all right? Full Ashen Men now, from what we know.
Okay, so he busts into the tent, and he's back with news, because he was on a separate Shanchen mission.
Yes.
In Abu Dar.
Mm-hmm, to figure out what's going on.
What's happening. And so he tells Rand, the Shanchen will move from Abu Dar soon, and they mean to come against Ilian next. And number one, Moore, please don't just shout things out in front of tons of people.
Yep. Check the room. Be like, Rand, hey.
Yeah.
I have information.
Especially considering the servants are here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, not great.
Okay. But also, gold star for you.
Me?
Do you know why?
No.
Because
I said coastal. They're going coastal.
You said that the Shanchen should swing around the coast, and you were like, I don't know, maybe go here, and then there, and then Ilian, and then Tyr.
Ilian,
and it seems like that is what the Shanchen's plan is swing around the coast and take all the coastal cities, because if you lock down the coast all around
That's
Randland,
what I said. All the ports are shut down.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
Like, you win.
Yeah.
So.
That's what I did say.
Yeah.
Although it's kind of bad and scary.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no, it's not good for our main characters.
It's good right now that Rand is privy.
Is learning about this
to the planet before it starts.
Yeah.
Because now we're going to make a move.
Yes.
Potentially on the Shanchen right now.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay, we got to get there.
Hold on.
Let's get there.
So, Torval right now decides that it's his place to chime in right now.
Well, he's a full Ashen Man.
He's a full Ashen Man.
He's pretty smart.
And
he's been in fights before. He's fought a bunch of people.
And he's also a dark friend, and we know about those guys who are just like, think they're better than everybody and think that they should be in power.
You know what? I agree. He kind of fits the profile, but does he fit it a little bit too close?
Nope. What does that mean?
He's a dick. You could be a dick and not be a dark friend.
Not really.
That's, well, okay.
I think I just assume that everyone who's an asshole is also a dark friend.
Really?
No.
But we've talked about Savannah, we've talked about Elida, like, there's people who are, bad people.
I just think that they haven't maybe had the opportunity.
No one's offered them to come into the club yet.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this new club that we're getting together?
See?
Yeah. Every Tuesday and every other Friday.
The thing specifically about Elida, though, is her fight against the Dark One.
Yeah.
Like, she wants lots of power, but she wants it so that we can save the world from the Dark One.
No, I get it. I was just saying, like, is Torval too close to the,
no.
evil spectrum?
No. If anything, it's like a big, huge flag that's like, hey.
Maybe red.
Look at
color
this.
of red and be like.
Black
flag. Be like.
Dark
bad.
friend.
Okay.
Dark friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's doing the got your nose symbol, right?
No, if anything, he's doing the symbol that you look at it and then you can punch someone if they see it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so he speaks up here, and he's like, how do you know that information more? Did they all tell you that? Or did you learn how to read minds?
Yeah, and this is where he goes on the rounds like, I've got experience in the armies and blah, blah, blah. And armies don't do that.
Armies don't take a city and then march 1,000 miles through mountains when there are perfectly good roads.
Well, what happens if you got boats and flying lizard birds?
Yeah, Rakens.
Yeah, flying lizard birds.
Flying, toothless, how to train your dragons.
It's kind of funny because the closest thing to dragons we have in this series are the flying Raken and the Toraken.
Yeah.
But then we got the dragon, so, and dragons on the arms. So
that's different.
And the flag, the dragon flag.
Yeah, different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so We get that Moore did, in fact, talk to some of them, mostly the Terabonners, and the Shanshan are putting troops along the mountains and then buying up every wagon and cart and animals they can get their hands on. And Torval continues his rant about this being a stupid plan, but Rand asks Moore what happened to staying low and not asking too many questions.
Yeah.
But Moore insists that he was careful in his questioning and all the signs point to Ilian being next. This reminds me of Julian's tactic for finding out information.
For sure. Well, and also the Shanshan aren't secretive of their plans. They literally will tell people their plans.
Yeah.
They told people their plans. They're like, go tell people, we're coming.
Yeah.
You can't stop us, so it doesn't matter if the word gets out. So I can absolutely believe that Moore stayed kind of low, and the Terabonner, like, conscripts know the plan.
Yeah.
And it's like, whatever, because that's the plan, and they're going to win.
Guys are drinking in taverns.
Might as well get on board with the Shanshan, because, like, they're going to win.
Right.
So.
Yeah, they're going to tell people who ask.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So then Rand decides that Moore is right, commends him for doing a good job, and he does know that the Shanshan are super organized. They've been in Abu Dar barely more than a week, so there's your timeline.
Yep, that's good.
And they're already working on repairing the city, setting up sick houses, getting food and shelter for the people who have been displaced, keeping the streets and countryside safe from thieves and bandits, cutting off the majority of smuggling.
Yeah.
So they're, like, doing good.
So, and that's what we know about the Shanshan is, in many ways, for, like, most common folk, they're actually good.
Yeah.
It's really bad for women who can channel.
Any women who can channel.
It's horrible. But that's kind of funny because we know that plays into what we know about Archer Hawkwing because they're descendants.
He hated Aes Sedai, yeah.
He did, but he also, like, ruled the world with an iron fist of justice. So the common folk were, like, better off under his rule. But, like, if you got on his bad side, then you're just dead. Mm-hmm. So, no surprise, the descendants of Archer Hawkwing are a lot like Archer Hawkwing.
Right.
So. Mm-hmm. And also, all the Illianer merchants are bummed out about the cutting off of the smuggling. Well, what do we know about Illianer merchants like Bail Daman?
Like Bail Daman, who loves his smuggling.
Smuggling business.
Yeah.
It's all getting shut down now, so we know all Illianers are smugglers.
Okay. So, based on what Rand knows, he agrees that the Shanshan are likely coming to Ilian next, and Torvald jumps in again, and is like, alright, cool, so how about 50 to 100 Asherman, just, like, put them in Ilian, and they can destroy any army in the world.
Which might be true.
But Rand doesn't think an opposing army with Damani will be destroyed so easily.
Which might be true.
Yeah.
But, like...
Because the Damani will lightning blow you up when you're trying to meat grinder them.
That's very, very possible. But we also just saw Hopwell take out, like, at least one Damani Sul'dam.
Only because they weren't expecting to be taken out by a man.
Which, I mean, and that's the whole argument.
It's got to be an element of surprise.
If they get the upper hand, they do have a legit shot.
Well, that's what I've been saying. That's what I said.
Like they have a good shot at that.
The only way they're getting taken out is the Black Tower.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and I'm standing by that.
Yeah, and that's a very fair prediction because that would be unexpected. It's a different power source. Like the Damani might not know how to handle it.
And also Elaine being super rash. Hasty,
do more
impulsive,
of those. Yeah. Which might
almost
not work.
Killing herself.
Right. It's not great.
And everybody around her.
Yeah. Also, Rand brings up a good point. Like, hey, I don't actually just want to protect only the city of Ilion.
Yeah.
Like, I want to protect everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily just want to, like, mass murder
everybody. Yeah.
If I don't have to. Which, fair points. I get it.
Yeah, are we meat grinding literally every Shanshan that's ever come here?
To be fair, I'm pretty sure like a couple episodes ago, that was what you said that should happen.
So,
you were like, meat grinder him.
Yeah.
You were really on board that train for the Shanshan. You're like, F it, let's do it. Let's go.
Well,
Are you changing your opinion now?
Well, no, that's just like what Rand thinks. I'm in Rand's head now.
No. You as Danny were like, let's friggin' meat grinder these Shanshan.
Well, yeah. But, like, the problem is there's just so many, right?
Yeah.
Like, how are we actually, you know?
What are we doing?
Although, the problem is, when you have, like, a huge group of people, like the Aiel, for example, the way you conquer them is fulfill their prophecy.
Boom.
Do you think the Shanshan have some kind of prophecy that they'll be like, oh, Rand's the guy, and then they'll, like, listen to him, and then just, like, take out all the Damani and stuff? Maybe, because, like, there are so many. There's, like, I just can't imagine the Shanshan being pushed back and never coming back.
Every culture we've met so far has some sort of variation of prophecy about Rand.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's very in the realm of possibility that the Shanshan have their own set.
Some sort of set of prophecies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm still waiting for the Paths of Daggers.
Yes. Yeah.
To come into play here.
Yeah. Gotta watch where you're walking.
And now you just told me we're halfway through the book and we still haven't heard from Matt.
The second half of the book is where all the action happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back into this.
Yeah, and Matt died, so it's like, whatever.
No.
Matt died last book.
Brett.
Wall fell on him. He's gone.
Not even.
He's gone.
No, he's not.
Never gonna see him again. How's your friend Moraine? She doing good?
Yes.
Dead.
Well, she's probably actually not doing very well, but she will be soon.
Ah, yes.
What did I say?
Yep.
I said a book number. I don't remember.
Maybe.
9 or 10.
You keep changing it.
I know.
Oh, man. Okay. Okay. Here we go.
These tangents make me, like, upset every time. Okay. Rand starts looking over the maps here, thinking about the routes that the Shanshan can take to get into Ilion, and estimates it could take them 2 weeks, maybe less, but more interrupts and says, listen, there was something else. There was talk of some sort of Aes Sedai weapon, and I found where it was used a few miles from the city, and the ground was burned for a good, 300 paces wide or more, and Saidin was worst there.
Yeah, so we're conflating two events, none of which was like a weapon.
And Rand asks him what he means by Saidin was worst there. And Moore explains that Saidin was strange. He could feel it in the air all around, still.
Yep. I mean, that's Cloud Bowl. Are we assuming this is still Cloud Bowl?
100%.
Like residue?
Yes, because from Perrin's point of view, the Asherman there could feel it also.
Yeah. And
that's why they're like, it's the Forsaken.
Right.
And it's like, what?
What else could it be?
Why is that the conclusion?
It's the only thing it could be.
Yeah. So anyways, Moore says Saidin was strange. He could feel it in the air all around, but strange everywhere in Ebu Dar, and sometimes it didn't do what he wanted.
Yes.
And Moore starts to explain that he's not crazy, he's telling the truth, and Deshiva says something like, that's not possible.
Yeah.
But Rand cuts him off and says, who knows what's possible anymore?
Yeah. And then he says something terrible.
He says, Moore, you'll be with me till the last battle.
Okay, prediction time.
Yeah.
He's dying next chapter.
Yeah, I know.
Like immediately.
Maybe.
There's a death sentence here. Why would you even say that, Rand, though? But anyways, so are we just thinking like, okay, Saidin is a little wonky because like so much power was used with Cloud Bowl, like to cause this worldly change? Yeah. Or are we thinking it's like something else?
Well, because we also have the true power Balefire and the one power Balefire
that was in Shatter Logoth, though.
So?
Yeah, but I mean, that's the whole point. It can't be coincidence that it's all in Ebu Dar where we know that stuff just happened.
It might be. It might be coincidence.
Okay.
Because we know that they were within days of each other. 4 days, I think, right? It was
something
4
like
days
that.
later.
Like, yeah.
And Rand has been feeling all wonky, and it might not have to do with that. It might have to do with Cloud Bowl.
Okay. A lot of question marks.
I don't know. You're not doing a very good job of fooling me today.
Okay. I know you think that, but like, what do you think is happening?
Yeah.
You have no idea.
I know. I'm just like, your face, like you're not being a very good actor today as like you normally are.
Sure.
I feel like I'm catching
Maybe that's part of the acting. Well, what are you catching? Tell me what I'm giving away. Explain what's happening then.
I think when I said the thing about the Balefire,
sure,
you didn't react well enough for me. It wasn't genuine enough.
Okay.
It felt like lying. It felt like reacting. It felt like you laughed to cover what you were gonna say. Anyway, I'm just like trying to dissect from you because I need to figure out what's happening.
Okay, that's not gonna help you very much.
No,
so,
I know.
Okay.
But I feel like there's a plethora of things that could be affecting what's
there's
happening.
There's like 8 things that are happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. I really wish that something like using Cloud Bowl or the weird Balefire thing could have just like accidentally cleansed Sidene, like, without trying. And then everyone's like, oh, it's weird. It's super weird.
Why would Cloud Bowl do that?
I don't know. I just thought maybe it would be like, but then Rand literally at the beginning was saying he felt...
There has to be a rational reason for how and why.
No, there does not.
Hey.
Magic.
Hey.
It's magic.
It's science, though.
But also magic.
But this one's science.
I know.
It's got to be science. Same with Cloud Bowl.
I just think that my brain is wrapped around this whole cleansing Sidene thing because of what Rand says next.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because this is like
it's a whole narrowed in thing.
Oh, it's good.
In case you forgot that this is something that is going to happen.
Yep.
Here's some more blatant foreshadowing.
Let's do it. And let's talk about the science behind it.
Okay. So Rand thinks about how 1 in 50 men already are turning out crazy.
Yeah, from the ratios of the Black Tower.
And wonders who will be next. He knows the madness doesn't always mean screaming about spiders.
Yeah,
but
here we go.
He thinks about how he had asked once where he knew the answers to be true, how to cleanse the taint from Sidene, and got a riddle for an answer.
Excellent.
Herod Fell had claimed the riddle stated sound principles in both high philosophy and natural philosophy, whatever that means.
Well, I have definitions for you.
Okay, but he hadn't seen any way to apply it to the problem at hand, and Rand wonders if Fell had been killed because he might have puzzled out the riddle.
Pause.
And Rand had a hint at an answer.
No, don't say it. Gotta pause.
I didn't pause.
Because that's the big thing. Rand thinks he has a hint at what the answer might be to his question.
Okay.
So we know when he went into the basement of Tyr and went through the ring.
Yes. But right.
Where he knew the answers to be true.
No. Not the ring, the doorway.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I misspoke. Yeah, so he goes to the doorway in Tyr. He asked once where he knew the answers to be true, how to cleanse the taint from Sidene. So that was one of his questions. He asked, how do I cleanse the taint? And they gave him a twisted answer.
Okay.
Because they're sneaky.
Okay.
Right? He got a riddle for an answer.
I didn't pick that up myself. Good.
That's what happened there.
Okay.
And Herod Fell claims the riddle states sound principles in both high philosophy and natural philosophy. So high philosophy probably pertains to the stresses of reason and systems and treatises. Treatises? Because we know that they're all, Snakes and Fox are all about like treaties. Right? And then natural philosophy explores the fundamental nature of natural reality and its implications for humankind. And it can include fields such as environmental ethics, the philosophy of biology, and physics. So basically what this means is that Herod Fell is telling us that RJ is going to do some sort of like sciencing the shit out of this and how cleansing the taint can actually go down in universe. So it's not just going to be magic, there's going to be science and philosophy behind it. Okay.
And also, Egwene and Nynaeve are going to help. Because that was my prediction from a bajillion years ago.
That was. Yeah. Which isn't out of the question. Like, it could happen.
Yeah.
It could happen.
Uh-huh.
And this is the thing. Maybe Fell got killed because he was onto an answer. Mm-hmm. And we remember that note.
Well, there were several things that he was on to answers about.
He had a few questions.
Rand had every question he's ever asked about the Dragon Reborn.
That's true.
And the world.
Yep.
And it could have been any of that, or it could have just been the pure fact that he was helping Rand.
That's very true. That's true.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, yes, it's convenient for Rand to think this right here and get us thinking, ooh, but...
But it sounds like Rand has a hint of an answer besides all that other stuff.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
But he thinks that if the taint isn't cleansed by Tarmangaiden, then the world is already going to be ruined because, male channelers and all that.
Right, yeah. And then Torval speaks up and says, that would be wondrous, but how could anyone short of the creator or ... you, Rand?
Oh.
Or the Mahale.
I thought you were going to say Dark One.
Or Dark One.
Yeah, because the creator and Dark One are like opposing forces. And the
Dark One.
Well, the Dark One put the taint on
That's
Sidene.
true.
So, like, hypothetically, that would make sense. Can he
and he
remove
goes
it? ...
because he was about to say the Grey Lord because he's a Dark Friend.
Okay, now you're reaching. You're reaching.
I didn't even think of that before. Yeah, that's funny. But then Rand realizes he had spoken his thoughts out loud about cleansing Sidene.
And all of them are like, and Dashiva looks poleaxed, and I had to look up what poleaxe means, because I don't know.
We've heard that so many times in this series.
I know, I never looked it up, though.
Oh.
It just means great shock.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they would all be shocked. Cause,
I mean, I feel like I could figure that one out.
Me too.
He looks...
I assumed that it meant, like, shocked, but, like, poleaxed.
Yeah, I know. We've seen that word before.
I know, yeah.
Okay, so Rand hopes he didn't say too much out loud because he wants his secrets to stay secret.
Because he's got an inkling of an idea on how to fix it.
But pretty soon, Rand has everyone moving. Hopwell is off to give orders to the nobles. Mora and Deshiva go to find Flynn and the other Ashaman. Torval is heading back to the Black Tower with instructions for Taim.
Yeah.
And Narishma is last. Rand thinks about the Aes Sedai and the Shanshan and weapons and sends Narishma away with careful instructions that make Narishma tense.
Yes. So he's thinking about Aes Sedai and Shanshan and weapons, and then he's sending Narishma on some sort of...
Mission?
Secret mission?
Away with instructions?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Rand tells him to speak to no one and don't fail me, not by a hair.
Yeah.
And he goes off. And then a voice in Rand's head.
And now he's back. From inside
again.
your brain.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going with, like, from outer space. I think we've done that before. You go with Eminem.
Oh, yeah.
I go with,
back again.
That's okay.
Tell a friend?
Yeah.
And he's back, tell a friend?
No, outer space. Anyways, it's fine. It's fine. Okay.
Okay. Well, anyways, I started applauding because the
Loose
head
hair's back.
says, dangerous. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Very dangerous. Maybe too dangerous, but in my work, it might. In any event, you must kill Torval now.
Yes.
You must.
Yes.
And by the time the nobles get to Rand and tell him the men in the trees have decided wisely.
That's good to know.
Yeah. They find Rand laughing until tears were rolling down his face.
Yeah.
And
Rand is
Lou's there in his
friggin'
back.
bonkers.
And he thinks to himself, loose there in his back, or he's crazy already. Either way, it was reason to laugh.
Yeah, so again, it's like outside perspective of people walking in on our boy Rand, and he's left alone for a little bit, and then he's like on the floor laughing, crying.
Oh, man.
Like, buddy, you gotta hold it together.
Okay, let me tell you the second most damning evidence that Torval's a bad guy.
And it wasn't the creator or the...
Yeah, that all of the stuff I came up with in the middle there was just like
That's fine. What's the second piece?
The fact that Luce Theron specifically says...
Okay.
Kill Torval now. It's not any other Ashaman right now.
Okay.
It's Torval.
Okay.
And that's how I got to the conclusion that Taim is Demandred, because Luce Theron was like, kill him. Kill Demandred before Samael. Demandred. Every time that Taim is around.
But what that means is, if that is true, then that means that LTT has some sort of, like, dark friend alert warning system that he can tell from what.
It certainly feels that way.
He knows
He knows.
So everybody else around Rand is like, they're fine.
Why didn't he say kill the Ashaman? Why didn't he say kill more? Or Narishma, who was the last one he was with? Or Flynn, or Deshiva?
You're learning so many names.
I'm reading them off my notes.
No. He's like, wow, that's really good. You're getting all of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, so...
Specifically, Torval?
Okay, so LTT can tell who is a dark friend or not.
Yep.
And he's giving Rand orders on who to kill.
Yes.
And Rand's just ignoring them.
Yes.
Like an idiot.
Yes. Idiot.
You know, I've always said Rand's an idiot.
Idiot.
Kill him. Kill Torval.
Yeah.
I love it.
With the spear.
I mean, that's one way to do it.
Which has a pointy end.
Yeah, it does. Let me tell you something about spears.
Oh, man. Okay. That's it.
That's some Rand. That's some little bit of Rand.
That's the chapter.
He's not doing well.
No.
We started this with him laughing to himself.
Yeah, he's been laughing to himself since Ruidian. That's just what he does now.
I know, that's bad. I would argue that that's not good.
Okay.
Like, he's got to make it a little bit further here.
And he will.
Yeah.
But it'll be funny along the way.
Okay.
Hilarious, even.
Hilarious, yes.
It's like he has a hilarious podcast playing in his head all the time.
Right. Okay.
So funny.
Yeah.
I get to read on.
You do. 2 chapters.
Yeah.
It's good.
Cool. let's move on. Let's see what happens next.
Okay.
It's probably interesting.
The chapter is called Stronger Than Written Law.
I don't care. That's not even interesting.
What? You don't know?
I thought you were telling me the chapter because it's interesting.
Well, you don't know what that means.
Stronger than written law?
It could be anything.
Something about Aes Sedai. They care most about written law.
Okay. That's an argument.
Let's get into it. Let's go.
Do it.
Let's go.
Yep.
Well, no, not now. Next time.
Next time.
Let me get into reading.
You go read. We'll do the same thing we do all the time.
Which is...
We'll see you back. You missed my joke about Dark Friend meetings being every Tuesday and every other Friday.
Oh, that's our
podcast
schedule. I did miss that joke.
Yeah, you did.
Was I busy talking to myself?
Yeah, maybe. It happens. That's okay.
All right. So before you come up with a crazy secret plan to take out the Sha-Chen, or at least stop them from invading, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Well, that's the end of another fun episode. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett, with Essen, Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, Megan Smiley, Jonathan Reese, Margaret, and Charlie Haz, with music by Audionautics. If you are interested in supporting us and the podcast, and also getting some really cool exclusive merch and access to early episodes and bonus episodes, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and us, like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, how to get in touch with us, things like that, for all things The Wheel Weaves, you can go to thewheelweavespodcast.com. Please be sure to give us that 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference. And tell a friend about us because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening because this really is part of the pattern now.